Hi guys!
Hello.
This is Ethan.
And I'm David.
And we are those nerds you know.
Back again.
Back
at again with those white vans. You
What?
ever heard that meme?
No. I don't hear memes.
Oh,
What do I
it's
see
it's an old meme. It's from a few years ago.
I'm sure
but,
old meme is old, but I don't like.
There's a thing where
the
there's
interwebs. David.
I don't know where it got started, but there's a video of this guy who's like, you ever heard like the "Damn Daniel"? Like that's part of it. Okay, well anyway, there's a guy that says that to somebody, and he's like, back at it again with those white vans, and he's like making fun of his shoes or whatever. And so when I think of the term "back at it again," my brain immediately goes to that, even though old meme is old.
Old meme is old. Another forewarning, there will probably be plenty of podcast nephew in this. And possibly podcast brother-in-law from what I can hear. But yeah, that's the world we live in.
Yeah, well, when we have a studio, we'll record in a soundproof box.
When that happens. when we're famous.
Yes, when and not if. Sponsor us.
Keeping the dream alive.
Definitely, baby.
So,
get that side hustle going. So,
I have cleverly kept my topic away from David.
Oh, yes. This is a mystery.
Now we're going to move right up into... Well, actually, first, we don't really do news here, but there's a new Voltron trailer that came out today as we're recording. Voltron Season 4 trailer, which seems the least trailer-ish to me of all of them.
Of all of them? It feels more like a teaser, yeah. It feels like if
not even that, it feels like...
Well, my thing is, like, it didn't really give us anything about the series that we didn't already kind of expect.
Precisely. And this one feels more like a commercial than any of all of them. And when I say commercial, I mean, like, I don't know if these guys are making or selling toys, but if they were, that's
just how it would look, yeah.
Yes. Join the Voltron Coalition. Buy each one of these.
Yeah, it was subtle, right?
Yeah.
It was a little subtle, buy all 5. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I feel that. It did feel very Saban-esque. But yeah, it's worth a watch. And
I'm just excited about the season regardless.
I'm just excited. Yeah, I'm excited regardless.
Was there a date on? I don't remember if there was a release date.
I believe there is. When was the last season come out? It came out last month or this month?
It's coming out in October.
October, yeah. So
I just don't know if there was an actual day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, well... That'll be good when that comes out. We can talk about that season. That one's supposed to be... I remember we mentioned in a few episodes ago how many episodes that's supposed to be. I'm wondering if it goes back to the regular length or if it's staying shorter.
I'm pretty sure they're maintaining their short thing for the moment. I'm not exactly sure about that, but I was fairly sure that's what
I think so too. Yeah, I don't believe it was I don't think it's going to be a full 13 episodes like the first 2 seasons or the first seasons. The first season was 11 episodes with the first episode being the equivalent of 3 episodes combined. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, looks good. Battle with what's his bucket's son, Lothor. Thank you,
Prince Lothor.
Prince Lothor. Yeah, Prince Lothor. Not what's his father's name?
Summon Prince Lothor. What?
What's his father's name? The Galra. No, the Galra is the Empire. What's his father's name?
The leader of the Galra Empire,
Zarkon. Zarkon.
Come on, David.
It's been
your research.
It's been a while. Hey, we're not talking about Voltron today. You sprung this on me, you idiot. What do you think I am? Some kind of prepared guy who's definitely prepared a lesson that's not at all.
We understand still asleep, and I don't think we caught any glimpses of him in the trailer.
No, yeah, I don't think so either. But
we did see Voltron in some kind of big Coliseum thing.
Yeah.
Possibly.
We got Lothor and his space babes.
Yeah.
We got the Paladins doing their Paladin thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be fun. In other news, as of recording this video, Ixalan comes out in a week and a few days. A few days from now is the pre-release, and then a week from then we get the actual official release of Ixalan, which is the newest set of Magic the Gathering. Yes. The new
David was talking about
Wizards of the Coast set. Oh, like Voltron? I'm sorry, what podcast is this again?
We have better things to talk
nerds
about. Look, David.
If you're tuning in, I'm assuming you know what the cost of doing business is.
That doesn't mean they know what Ixalan is.
No, but
just name
nerdiness.
Nerdiness. That most of the people that listen to this are just our friends who we've begged to listen to this who probably don't care at all.
That's okay.
You're okay.
They can learn to care.
Anyways, yeah.
Play Magic.
That's coming out. Super good stuff. But today we're going to talk about something that I feel like talking about, and that is in the wide, wonderful world of anime.
Oh, yeah.
There are a plethora of characters who are possessed by some sort of demon or power. And
yes.
I'm going to count down my top 5.
Oh,
that's what I'm going to go about doing right now. Yep. So that's what I'm talking about, and we'll talk a little bit about who they are, why do I like them, and why they make my list, and things of that nature. And when I say top 5, I mean I scrambled together 5 names.
Yeah.
As a challenge to myself. I actually came up with a few more. So
clickbait.
After
BuzzFeed. Top 5
yes.
best spirit-possessed anime protagonists and/or villains.
After I got 5 of them together, I decided to go with first talk about some honorable mentions. So these are people who are not on my top 5 list, but could possibly be, or honorable mention numero uno would be Alan Walker.
From D. Gray Man.
From D. Gray Man.
Ah, it's a show I've not seen, but I know that name.
It's a show you have not seen. He is the main character from D. Gray Man, and depending on how far along you are in the series, you can say that he is possessed by 1 or 2 different things.
Neat. That's very cool.
So in the beginning, we were introduced to Alan Walker, and he is an exorcist in this world. Exorcists are employed by the Black Order, I think it's called, Dark Order, or something to that effect, which is run by the Catholic Church. And the exorcist's job is to destroy Akuma, or demons, and to exorcise them. They exorcise them by fighting them with special weapons that have been crafted out of something called innocence. We're not super sure what innocence is, but it's a sort of like a pure...
It's like good, like light, like in like the typical...
I think so, but it comes in like I think it has a physical form, like a gem or something of that effect.
I see.
Which in and of itself is contrary to demons, but has to be crafted into something that humans can use. Humans can't just use it straight out.
Oh, I see. It has to be refined in some way.
Correct.
That's cool.
Turned into something, and so the Black Order turns innocence into different weapons, and there are different classes of weapons that exist. And the one that Alan has is the most rare, I think, or close to most rare, which is oh my gosh, I forgot the name of this thing.
Yeah, I know. It's like you didn't even...
No, I can do this. What's the name of Parasite? That must be what
Parasite.
It is. Yeah, it's like Parasite type, yes. Because it attaches itself to its host without being refined. So like this, upon contact, this innocence attaches itself to a host exorcist. By the way, you're classified as an exorcist if you can wield innocence, because not everyone can.
Oh, neat. That's cool.
It attaches itself to that person and then becomes its thing. It doesn't need refinement.
Yeah, okay.
It becomes its own
crafted in something that kind of just takes a life of its own a little bit.
In Alan's case, it took over his left hand. So his left hand's looks all red and raggedy and like cursed and shriveled on a normal basis, but when he starts up his innocence, his hand transforms, and for the first bit it's just like this long grayish white spiky curvy hand. And that's how it stays for the first bit of the while. It eventually transforms. He goes through a crap ton. I don't know how much I want to spoil for you.
That's fine.
But he goes through a...
Yeah, it's a longer show. I imagine there's quite a few...
It's long, and the creator has been through several hiatuses because, from what I understand, I think it's a she. She has carpal tunnel?
Yeah.
I think is the case.
What to do with the wrist, yeah.
Indeed. So, like, she can't always draw, which is a struggle. Yeah, that's for an artist. That must
sucks for an artist.
That
for sure.
must suck. To be there's so much pain that you can't do your craft. Yeah, that. Anyways, so the show's gone through several pauses. The anime that's on Netflix is not that great. It's good. It's like I think there's 2 seasons of it on Netflix, and most of the second season is filler. But if you watch from episode 1 to about the middle of season 2, it's good.
Cool.
And then if you watch,
that's a little bit like Bleach.
Watch the very last episode of season 2.
Although I think Bleach gets at least 2 episodes.
When it gets back on track.
Okay.
Because there's a moment, because I didn't even know that until I started reading through the anime or through the manga after watching the anime.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I noticed all the filler. It's just like there's a part in the manga where they're like, all right, we got to go to China now. And like next chapter they're just in China, so they just kind of skip their trip. Whereas in the second season of the anime, they're like, well, we got to go to China. We got to go to China, and they spend like 10 episodes of them trekking to this place,
and walking there, like how?
Well, like just traveling there, getting there, and so they had just.
Where are they based? They're based in Japan.
No, I think the Black Order is in England. Or Paris. Paris is probably where it is. I think it's Paris.
Cool. Either way, that's kind of neat.
Anywho, yeah, it's in Europe.
Cool. Honestly, that sounds like a neat place to put filler. Because, like...
It is, and it's interesting. But the thing it does is it introduces... So, like, the bad guys in this are called the Noah. Mm-hmm. And it introduces a Noah that doesn't get introduced in the manga until far later. Which seems like an interesting grab for me.
Yeah.
It's like, why not just use the Noah that are there? Because at this point, they've met like 4.
Yeah. Or they could have had some other...
The only interesting thing it did allow for is it allowed us to see... So, like, there's a couple of guys in the show called Bookmen. Bookmen.
Do they not use innocence? Or they're bad guys?
I don't remember. No, they're good guys for the most part. They play like they're neutral, but they're not very neutral. Gosh, what I saw something recently that they were like the exact same that I could compare them to in a show, but they're similar to like Watchers or like I know what it was, Castlevania.
Okay.
So the crazy people, not the crazy people, but the magic people.
The people that can carry knowledge.
Yes, they carry knowledge, but all of their history is oral.
Yeah.
The bookmen are the same thing, but they write it all.
I see.
They've written down the history and they pass it down from bookman to bookman.
Ah.
And they have the history of
as opposed
planet.
To like scribe describe or
right, but they don't reveal it to everyone. They consider it a very secret thing, and sometimes they'll reveal stuff. Yeah. But their purpose is to observe
and report.
Observe and record.
I know. I'm supposed to
observe and record.
Yeah.
And one of the guys has explained like that. So there's a really old guy, which you can compare to like Master Roshi. Or Genkai from Yu Hakusho. Just the old sage character.
Insert old sage character, yeah, exactly.
And then there's Lavi, who's like his goofy apprentice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Who I think you've seen. He's the redheaded one who has innocence, it's a big hammer.
I've probably seen him. I don't the name doesn't the picture doesn't ring a bell, but it sounds familiar.
It's pretty swag. Anyway.
I feel like you've talked to me about him before.
I don't even know why I was going into this, but the bookman himself, the older guy, has essentially stated that our goal is to observe everything and record history, and occasionally that means we be exorcists and things like that. And right now that serves our cause best, so we're exorcists right now. Mm-hmm. So he has a bit of innocence, and so does Lavi. Mm-hmm. Lavi is the one that's more Alan's age, and his turns into a big hammer, which is really cool.
Yeah,
and he can do a lot of fun things with it. But like you never see this old man use his innocence. Ever. I think we've recently seen it in the manga, but there's a glimpse of it in this filler, and that is the one thing that was cool about it. Huh. He just uses it for a second, and it is sickeningly awesome.
That's awesome.
It's so cool. It's just a bunch of, and like you don't see him do it, you just see the aftermath of it, which is they're fighting some Akuma or something like that, and one of them is
demons or something,
human shaped, and like you see the thing in the distance, and you see him land, and you see it just kind of crumble, but it's covered in spikes because his innocence is just this series of spikes that he can control. So they all just skewered this thing and covered it. Like you didn't even see the Akuma. It looked like it had an armor of spikes, except it was dead.
Yeah,
because it was spiked a lot, and it looked sick.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Crazy cool.
That's really cool.
But yeah, that was the only good part about that filler. Anyway, after that rant, Alan Walker. He makes my honorable mentions because he's not exactly possessed by a demon. However, there's a hint and a
nod.
sort of like a tether of stuff, of a storyline that might be resolved by now because I haven't finished the manga or haven't read up to wherever we are. But he is the missing 14th Noah, a different Noah, that's necessary to create the Earl's, or to complete the Millennial Earl's plans for world domination. Millennial Earl being like the Satan,
the bad guy,
king demon in this
neat
particular situation. Also, I will mention D. Gray Man is a very cool story as far as villains go, because the villain is actually incredibly threatening. All of the bad guys are very threatening, and I don't know a lot of shows that do that really well, and I am always petrified for the good guys when they come across one of these Noah or one of the bad guys, because they are incredibly difficult to kill, which makes it all the cooler when someone actually manages to kill one. Because I think up to what I've read, only one person has killed one, and that was Kanda.
Yeah.
Because Kanda's BA.
Right.
So cool.
That's awesome.
Anyway, it's very, very good. Very, very cool manga anime. Definitely get into it. Okay, moving on to my next honorable mentions. We only got through one honorable mention.
Yeah, right.
Moving on to my next honorable mention. Next honorable mention to me is Gaara.
Oh yeah, I was wondering if you were going to pick up Gaara.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring up multiple people from the same anime.
Sure.
So Gaara is an honorable mention to me. I really like Gaara. It was cool. I loved him most of the fights that I ever see him in. He's
a cool character. He's done really well.
On top of, from what I understand, eventually he is no longer possessed by the demon.
He's no longer evil, but he still has a spirit in him, like Naruto does. I think he gets a better control over it. I think I'm not certain. I do know he does become a decent guy, but I believe he still has the power of the tailed spirit in him. I don't know.
Honorable mention being Yami Bakura.
Bakura?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Honorable mention because it's honestly never clear to me if he's possessed or if he's just playing the nice guy all the time.
Yeah.
I think there is a portion where the nice guy and the bad guy are two different people, but eventually that just gets eradicated and it's just
he's basically just a bad guy the whole time, yeah.
But that one's fun. Bakura is always getting into mischief in that show. Gnarly.
He's
crazy,
always up to something.
He was... Gosh.
Yeah, no, he's apparently very vicious in the manga.
The amount of crazy that's in all of these characters that you don't get in the anime of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is mind-boggling. Like, when you, reading the manga and then watching the show that eventually became what we see here, or what we saw here in America, the amount of editing that had to take place to get this thing to where it is just so crazy to me. Just, I can't imagine what it must have been like being the people editing it here in America.
Yeah, no, I mean, all the editing they did for...
Taking out all the guns, taking out all the nudity, taking out all the crazy...
Like, things like One Piece and Dragon Ball Z. That's why it was such a big deal when they released the uncensored version of Dragon Ball Z. But it's just like when I first heard that as a kid, I was like, oh man, it's going to be super gnarly and stuff like that. But it's really not. It's just now there's less... censoring, you know what I mean? It feels unnecessary censoring, in a sense. And so it's just oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a violent anime, and now we get to see it actually be violent as opposed to it being censored for some reason. But
Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a crazy manga. Yeah. And we never got as much of the crazy. I mean, a lot of it is still crazy. I mean, Pegasus stealing people's souls and whatnot. And,
Merrick got pretty wacko towards the end of his arc, too.
Gosh, yes.
Yeah. I know he was basically shifting his body and face for a while. That was kind of weird. It was visually showing him crack, basically.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Gosh, I really like the animation in Yu-Gi-Oh! When anyone goes nuts. It gets really intense.
Yeah.
Watching their eyes is this is so crazy.
Yeah.
I'm about to freaking murder all of y'all, and I'm playing a card game, and it's so...
Yeah, exactly.
It's so crazy. It's such an interesting juxtaposition in this.
Yep.
It's gnarly. Anyway, Bakura makes my list, because boy crazy. Lock people... he has an arc in the manga where he locks people into a tabletop game. Including himself, I'm pretty sure. The nice version of himself.
Okay.
Absolutely absurd. Just bonkers.
Yeah, I think they do something similar to it in a throwaway episode in Duelist Kingdom or something.
Yes.
There's a dream episode where it's just kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, one of the episodes between Duelist Kingdom and The city.
Battle City.
That's the one. I'm pretty sure is where that was. Although, if I recall correctly...
I thought it was in between duels. Like, maybe, like, after they beat, like, that ghost guy
or
zombie guy.
And just hanging out in the woods.
Before they dueled, like, My Valentine, or before they dueled, like, Bandit Keith or something.
Because the small arc between Kingdom and City is Dice Monsters.
Dice Monsters, yep. Dungeon Dice Monsters. Yep.
Which is...
Dimension the Die!
Like, I know we talk about how cool Homeboy is.
Duke Devlin, baby.
But, like, he was so not cool when this thing started.
Well, yeah.
During those introductory episodes.
Yeah, like...
He was quite a jerk.
He was quite a jerk. But, I mean, at the same time, like... I don't know. I think it was because a lot to do with because of the fact he saw Yugi as being this, like, arrogant punk. And he kind of is, but...
No, it was because he struck a deal with Pegasus to produce Dungeon Dice Monsters as an actual game.
Yeah.
And he lost that deal because Pegasus went crazy.
Yeah. Because
Pegasus lost against Yugi.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And so Duke Devlin just blamed Yugi for his game not taking off.
Mm.
And so he was going to challenge Yugi to this game that Yugi's never played before in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And when he beats them, like he obviously would, because again, Yugi's never played this game in his life, his penance, or like what Yugi would have to give up gaming from then on. And I'm just like, none of this matches the crime that Yugi did not commit in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, you were the one about to go into business with this crazy man who lived on an island.
Yeah,
like,
but it's interesting because it
wasn't about honor.
There's quite a bit
about Duke being an a-hole.
There's quite a bit of misunderstanding in the show too, with different characters. Like My Valentine is originally introduced as a villain, and so is Kaiba too, but Kaiba's always kind of a punk. But like, there's other characters I feel like that when they first get introduced, they're like, you're a bad guy, but then they kind of come around.
Well, yeah,
there's a guy during Waking the Dragons that's like that. That helps.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's a good guy now, and we're cool with him.
Yeah.
But honestly, that turn happens really fast, and he was a total a-hole when he's first introduced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
It's a similar thing with what's her bucket, the girl that wanted to marry Yugi, and based on and she had a thing to do. She had some sort of memory of her grandfather dueling Yugi's grandfather in a cave in Egypt or whatever.
Marry? I don't think she wanted to marry Yugi.
Yeah, she wanted to marry him. She had a little teddy bear, and she was talking about marrying him, and she was dueling him, and he had to do something with the Millennial Shield or whatever. I don't know. The point being though, she had a memory of her grandfather dueling Yugi's grandfather, and she remembered it one way, and Yugi was like, no, it actually happened this way. But the reason she was dueling Yugi was because of that. She wanted to marry him afterwards. I don't think she wanted to marry him.
Yeah, that wasn't the motivation for them dueling.
For the dueling. No,
she was trying to win the blue eyes back from Yugi.
Yeah.
Because she thinks that Yugi's grandfather stole the blue eyes from her grandfather, which was not the case.
Yep.
Won that be fair and square.
Yeah. No, I thought he traded it for water or something goofy like that. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen that show.
They played a game for water.
Oh,
they had the last bit of water. They played a game for it. Yukimoto's granddad won, so he was the one who would have taken the water, but instead he gave the water to the other guy, in effect saving his life, and they were rescued shortly thereafter. And Homeboy gave his dragon to Yukimoto's grandfather as a thank you.
Nice.
And memento of their friendship.
Yeah.
I watched this very recently.
Oh, okay.
Like a few months
It's been a long time since I've seen it. Okay, yeah. No, I'm a little.
I watched it this year.
A little behind.
So
yeah, I don't know when she becomes the girl that, because I always remember her as being the girl that wants to marry you.
And that may be the case later on. But
it is, but I just don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know when that turn happens.
It's not her original thing. Okay, now we're moving into my top 5, David.
Do it.
This is the top
Start
5.
us off.
They're not in any order, but I think I'm going to try to order them just for funsies.
My
number 5.
Oh, yeah.
Daisuke Niwa.
Daisuke
Niwa. Have you heard of an anime called DN Angel?
I have. I've seen the first episode of it a long time ago.
Well done.
Vic Monogana's in that.
Vic Monogana. So you have seen
the first episode.
I love how I don't know if you would. I actually legitimately overheard someone try to say Vic's name, and I assume that if you're this was at an anime convention. I assume if you're at an anime convention, you know how to say Vic Mignogna's name.
Vic Mignogna, yeah.
But this is just walking by. There's like some guy here called Vic Mignogna. Yeah, I think his voice is faded off, but I just heard that one part, Vic Mignogna, and I just Just couldn't handle it. Yes.
Yeah, no, I liked
Vic Mignogna.
Little Karibo doing a bit. He did a promo for a convention he was going to. That Vic Mignogna was also going to be there, and that's when he was like Vic Mignogna, and like that's what I was like, yeah. So yeah, no, it's a fun name that people like to make fun of. But yeah, Vic Mignogna's in that show. I know he does the intro, and I think he plays one of the main guys in that. I don't remember that much.
Daisuke Niwa is kind of 14 years old, and all he wants to do is confess his love to this chick.
I was like, it's a romance.
Does, and she's like, nah.
Yeah.
Luckily, though, she has a twin that's also hot, who does have the hot for him.
She has a twin that's also hot. That's how it works.
Who has the hots for him, but he doesn't for her. Adding more.
That was a cruel mistress.
A cruel one indeed. Adding more mystery and intrigue. He suddenly transforms into an adult male who's considerably more attractive than he is, and has wings. Yeah. And he's like, "What the f is going on?" He transformed into someone called Dark, who is a famous thief. And apparently that's just carried down through the generations of their family. They are famous thieves. They are the famous thief, Dark. All the males in the family, when they come of age, which I guess is 14, they gain the ability to transform into a version of themselves that is Dark. It's called Dark. And so, like, in effect, keeping alive the mythology or legend of Dark, the art thief.
Yeah.
Throughout time as being this undying whatever. And I think so through the show, it is more of a romance and things of that nature, but through the show they give him various different reasons to steal various things. Cool. He always announces when he's going to steal stuff.
Like publicly, like I'm going to go after these jewels, and then like double security, triple security. It started getting to it's
something that I never had a comparison to until recently when we watched Death Note, and I started learning more about what Death Note is. Mm-hmm. There's another character. I think he might even be called White. Another character that comes in. I don't think that's exactly right, but essentially, Dark is like this dark angel. And there's another character who can transform into a light angel, who's more or less a detective, and whose goal it is and has always been to capture Dark.
Oh, it's like this eternal feud between these two immortal beings, or these two ever-present beings.
Very much what it is like, although it's kind of strange and weird.
I mean, that's kind of neat. I mean, it's a little bit...
No. It's strange that I think it's hinted at plenty during the show that this other guy also has the hots for Dark. And so I'm like, do you want to love him or do you want to capture him? I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
By the way, you're 14.
By the way,
stop molesting this 14-year-old.
Yeah, that dichotomy it happens a lot in cat and mouse things. Yeah. Like they try to do that a lot with they try to tease that with Batman and Joker sometimes in the comics. More so on the Joker side, like Batman doesn't never reciprocate that, but there's always this like the bad guy's like, we're doing this because we love each other, and they're like, no, I want to kill you.
So similar to that.
It's weird. But
it's just like Dark is always like, I'm gonna be here at this time, I'm gonna steal this thing in front of your faces, and Light's like, bring it, and he usually does.
And then he brings it.
Yeah, but they also often...
Does it feel... Okay, so does the show feel like kind of like Ocean's 11-esque, and like you see he's do these heists, and you're like, how did he do it? And he's like, and it has this big reveal or something? Or
not as much.
Or is it really the focus isn't about the thievery? The focus is more on
It's not so much on the thieving. The thieving is also hinted... So like it's also helped by the fact that he's kind of supernatural and he can fly.
Yeah.
Also, the reason he can fly, I said that he has wings. His wings are actually one of his pet. He has a pet that's just this kind of
symbiotic pair of wings.
I don't know. It's a thing. What do they call him? They call him something. It's just this cute little thing that doesn't resemble any particular animal, but it's just like insert cute stuffed animal from Japan.
Yeah, chinchilla, whatever.
Yeah. And he can whiff, I think is whiff or wing, something with a W, or whiff, I think is his name. And he can just morph into the wings on his back.
Interesting.
Any hoozles.
That's very cool.
So Daisuke has been trained for a long time to become a thief, which is funny because it seems to him it seems like when he became Dark, it was a surprise to him, even though he was training for it. I don't know if that's just a problem with the dub, but But he has been training for it for a while. I had the first volume of the manga there if you want to read it. It's pretty interesting.
Cool.
It's neat. So you can see that he does have skill in thievery. He's acrobatic and knows how to pick locks and spring traps and things of that nature, and that could hurt and yada, 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 yada. He can do the things that thieves are supposed to do. Neat. It's interesting. The very interesting thing about it is that like he has the hots for this chick.
Mm-hmm. Who doesn't love him back.
Who does not love him back, but that chick falls in love with Dark.
See, that's the thing they do a lot in anime too.
And however, Dark likes her sister, who in turn likes normal Daisuke. And these two girls are like his.
That's interesting.
All of the Darks have some kind of trigger that help them transform from normal person to Dark, and then from Dark back to normal person. And it is, from what I understand, it is these two girls. Like when Daisuke's around the girl that he likes, when he thinks about her too much, whatever, he becomes Dark.
Yeah.
And then when Dark sees this other chick that he likes, he turns back into Daisuke.
Huh.
I haven't finished the series. It's cool though. It is very, very anime and very strange.
Yeah.
But
the mythology of having the immortal beings like kind of like a reincarnated or whatever, or down the line, it reminds me a little bit of Aquarion in that like it has this idea of like there were certain characters in the show that basically like this is the synod of these gods or whatever, and like they're reincarnation of this thing, and it's another neat thing where it's just like there's kind of a romance to it, but the characters involved are really super young and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's like there's even like a thing where like the main girl in the show is definitely, we know she's definitely the reincarnation of a goddess that loves this other god, and she believes because her brother is such a good pilot of the Aquarion mech or whatever, she believes he is also the reincarnation of the male counterpart, the love interest, and so she kind of loves her brother, but it turns out to be a different guy who's the main character instead. He's the guy that's the real reincarnation, and so she's kind of the tsundere to him for a while. Because that makes more sense than having her fall in love with her brother, right? Anime, right? Japan.
Anywho, on to numero 4. My number 4 person possessed by a demon is Uzumaki Naruto.
Okay.
Yes, Naruto. So like people.
No, yeah.
You gave me this blank stare.
No, because I was like,
you know who Naruto.
No, because I was like, wait, you said Gaara earlier, and then you were like, I only do one per show, and so that's why I was.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So he was my honorable mention because in my actual top 5, I already had Naruto.
Yeah.
I didn't want to name someone else from his show.
Yeah, that's fine.
So in my top 5, I have Naruto. He's number 4 for me because. Main reason because I haven't finished the show.
Mm-hmm. Neither have I. I've read a lot of the manga. I've gone further in the manga than I have in the show, but nowhere near finished.
He was big for me as a kid. I really enjoyed Naruto, and I read through Chunin exams. I read through up to when the time skip happens and then go into Shippuden, which is that's what I know. Naruto to me is that it's nothing. I know 0 things about Shippuden.
Yeah. Naruto
to me is everything that happened before Shippuden.
Right. I don't think I quite got to Shippuden. In the manga, at least.
There's not a whole lot after the Chunin exams.
Yeah, I know. Like, there's Sasuke leaving, but like I've gotten to the point where, I don't know. I got to the point where Gaara is going to the Hidden Mist village, which I hear is a bad time. But I didn't get that further.
I really want to know it. Like, I want to.
Yeah, I do want to finish it, especially since I hear Boruto is actually really good.
Yeah, and I'm sure it would be.
Yeah. I also, side note, I love that the internet is having so much fun with Boruto, like making fun of it. And I mentioned San Japan how people are being like they're referring to Naruto as Boruto's dad.
Yes.
And they're like, I recently saw a picture where they showed Boruto having ramen with Naruto as his father growing up, and somebody posted a comment. They're like, "Oh man, do you think they'll ever make a sequel show to Boruto where we find out about his father and what his father did?" And so, and I'm like, I love it. I love anime so much.
That's super good. Yeah, no, that's great. Go great. Anyway, he's on my list because some of it is nostalgia. I really enjoy his character. He's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And like he was the perfect thing for me at that age. I was a teenager when I was reading it. I was like his age when I was reading it.
Yeah, you're all the angst.
I was just angry at the world for no reason. Although he had plenty of reason, I didn't.
Sure.
I was perfectly fine. My parents were together and all things hunky dory, and they had jobs.
You don't have a demon locked in you.
Well, I super don't. I really enjoy, though, in the past couple of years, looking at Naruto, I've always had this thought, and I don't think I've discussed it with anyone, so I'll discuss it with you. So that Naruto
and our audience.
Naruto and our audience.
My brother Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Naruto and Harry Potter are essentially the same character.
Yes.
Treated in two highly different ways.
Yes.
So Harry Potter is a vessel for a demon. We'll just say that.
Sure.
He's a Horcrux.
Yeah.
He's one of 7 pieces of Voldemort.
Yeah.
Regardless, he has a demon inside of him that connects him to some sort of evil.
Yes.
And there was an event way back in the Dizay where an evil thing was occurring and it was bad, but the evil got beaten or sealed away, whatever, and he is part of the solution to that and a symbol of hope.
Yes.
And so everybody like. And so Naruto and Harry Potter are similar in the way that they both have this thing inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them knows about it, but everyone in their life does.
Yes.
Every single person around them is aware of who they are, but no one has decided to tell them this.
Yeah.
In Harry Potter's instance, someone tells him when he's like of age to become a wizard, and everyone's just enamored with this kid, and they're just like, he's the chosen one, he's amazing, and everybody just kind of treats him with this like celebrity atmosphere. Whereas with Naruto, everyone basically treats Naruto so Naruto has QB, right? They refer to it as QB. Sealed inside him a 9-tailed fox. Is it 9-tailed in the show?
Yeah, it's 9-tailed.
Okay, cool. I think mythic foxes have a different number of tails depending on like how long they've been alive or something.
Yeah, well,
that.
Each of the Gaara and Naruto, like each of them has a creature in them, and each of them has a different number of tails. And I believe
but I mean like in actual Japanese folklore, I think fox spirits have different numbers of tails depending on something about them. Sure. I think it might be their age, but I think it could also be like their power.
Yeah, I think the number of tails equals power. Yeah. Because
like Vulpix has 3 tails or 6 before it evolves into 9 tails, which actually has 9 tails and is the embodiment of that
very
folklore creature. Any hoozles. Naruto is treated as if he is this demon, and he is the bad thing.
Yeah, they
completely ostracized.
Yeah,
and
I think a lot of it has to do with they kind of see him as the reminder of the creature.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is really so. Instead of seeing him as a symbol of hope, as to we handled the problem and we dealt with it and it's gone.
Yeah.
Like they kind of do for Harry Potter.
Well, I also think the difference between that, like you said, everybody knows who Harry Potter is and everybody knows who Naruto is. But I feel like it's not really revealed to anybody that Harry has a piece of Voldemort in him.
Correct.
Until like
that is true.
The very end. While it's like,
however, there are people that know that.
Yeah, there are some people that know that or understand that, like Dumbledore and some people like that.
Right.
But it's not a general public type thing, while everybody is very actively worried that QB still lives inside Naruto.
All the adults in Naruto's village understand that this demon is sealed inside Naruto. And I think for the most part they understand that seal probably isn't permanent.
Yeah,
which is a thing, right?
Yeah, I think they believe it. They believe it can be corrupted or something, or can be revealed, or I don't know. They keep a strong eye on him for sure.
Right.
Because of that.
Which inevitably results in like everybody just hating this kid for no reason, which has got to be the worst in the world. Because already your parents are dead.
Yeah.
And they were killed by the darkness that you are now containing inside of you. Not that he knows that.
Not that he knows that,
Which again, why not tell this kid? But whatever.
Okay.
Anyways.
Mystery box, buddy.
I don't
put it in a mystery box.
Anyways, but yeah, I
write down a note. There's a demon in you.
Post it. Stick it on the door. Gosh.
What?
Oh. Well, no,
also, you're a ninja. You're a ninja, Harry.
You're a ninja, Harry.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. So at the end of each of their arcs, you think if Harry and Naruto fought, who would win? Easily Naruto.
I feel like Harry would... No, you're right.
No, are you kidding me?
Harry has a spell that kills people.
Naruto... if you hit anyone in Harry Potter world with whatever the frick his Rasengan is, you don't think they'd die? I think they'd super die.
I think they'd super die.
Everyone in Naruto seems to be a little bit more rough and tough and durable than any other human in our world, and I think the humans in Harry Potter
I feel like that goes basically to every anime, though. At least specifically every shonen anime, though. Like, okay, so if Harry snuck him,
sure. But if they were both put in front of one another, and they're like, okay, Harry, you're a wizard. He's a ninja. Go for it. Especially at the end of, like at the very end of Naruto, because from what I understand, Naruto becomes basically a god by the end of it.
I think, well, he's pretty powerful, for sure. He gains more control over the demon inside him as a research, basically. He makes that.
Plus, if he were to kill Naruto,
I think he and Gaara like kind of make a partnership with the demons inside them, kind of, and they kind of make a deal somehow.
Like Drakengard.
They find a way to control it.
You ever played Drakengard, David?
I haven't. You've told me about it. It sounds good though.
It's very good. Totally watch
but no, I feel like
because your heart with a dragon's heart.
The power creep in Naruto is tough to like.
Yeah, no, what I mean, but I mean, if they were to fight at the end of what we understand, like at the end of the Chunin exam, at the end of right before Shippuden, if Naruto were to fight Harry Potter.
But even then, you mentioned Rasengan, he didn't even have Rasengan at that point. My thing is I still feel like Naruto.
Did he not? I'm pretty sure he had Rasengan.
For the Chunin exams? No.
No. I'm talking at the end of that. Before Shippuden, he definitely had Rasengan.
No, he did that, but I thought you said up to the Chunin exams.
At the end. No.
Okay, no. I was like, what the heck? No, he did not have Rasengan.
Super had that.
But no, but my point is, even without the Rasengan, ninjas are, inexplicably fast.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like... And also Harry... isn't a killer. He would just kind of hesitate, and Naruto would just kill him before anything.
Just mark him.
He would have to use a Rasengan, and so that's what I'm just like. It feels like who would win between Naruto and One Punch Man? It's just like, why put them together? Obviously this character would win, but why would they fight anyway?
Because we told them to, David. We put them at the opposite end of this thing, and we were like, y'all need to fight one another, so we can figure out who would win, and we can rest.
It just feels like those kinds of one-sided fights feel.
Yeah. Anyway, the real comparison between
not as satisfying as saying who would win between Batman and Superman or something like that.
Yeah. Well, also, someone on YouTube I think did a when they do their death battles. I think someone did one between Luke Skywalker and Harry Potter, and I was like,
I don't know.
Luke, almost certainly.
Maybe
especially particularly if it was Luke from the books, but
Luke from the books probably. Well, all the book characters are
nonsense.
Yeah, because my thing is Luke is by the end of the
you continue.
By the end of the movies, he's kind of he's decent with a sword and he has a grasp of the Force.
Gotcha.
But it's he still feels like he still feels like a noob.
It comes on timing and it comes on.
Yeah.
Well, but we've seen him now that he's grown up and he.
Yeah. And he develops into a powerful Jedi, but it just I don't know.
Again, it depends on how bloodthirsty Harry is, because he does have kill spells and he can use them. Yeah. But would he?
Yeah. And I guess it also comes down to, can a lightsaber block a spell?
Also a question.
Can a lightsaber, or can a lightsaber like Harry Potter also had the world of Harry Potter also has shield magic, and can the lightsaber cut through magic?
Probably can, David. Lightsaber is basically magic itself.
Probably.
A question I had earlier: if you Naruto and Harry Potter go at one another. Harry Potter throws a Avada Kedavra, kills Naruto. Sure. Does the demon then pop out of him?
I don't know.
I would assume that would be the case.
I believe it doesn't, because I believe it would die as well. I think that's part of their relationship, is that he understands that, because I believe early on in the show, Kyuubi tries to threaten Naruto, as if if you don't let me out, I'll kill you, kind of thing. But it's I think it's later revealed that if Naruto were to die, so would him. So it's it's really more the only way to get out is to release him. Right. And so I don't know. But I didn't get that far, and so I don't remember. Someone in the comments,
if Harry Potter kills Naruto, and he's oh yeah, got it, and then Kyuubi,
a nine-tailed demon pops out,
and he's just
yeah,
and then he would just be murdered.
Yeah.
Anyhoozles, that was my exhaustive number 4.
You just called Newt Scamander and they put it in a bag.
Yeah. Where are we at? We are on
number 3.
Because
4 was Naruto and 5 was Daisuke.
I'm gonna say this one will be on my number 3, and that is Meliodas.
Meliodas. That sounds very familiar.
Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh,
he's the leader of the Seven Deadly Sins.
He's the blonde.
He's the blonde guy.
He's got a demon in him?
He's got something gnarly inside of him.
Jeez.
And it hasn't been explained very much, which is why he's not higher on my list, and probably should have been 5, but I don't it's fine. He's number 3. Deal with it.
Make your own list.
Yeah, make your own list.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Let me find some images of this. So, like, he has this gnarly tattoo system that shows up on him whenever he goes crazy.
Oh, kind of like the Sharingan when he gets his curse.
Yeah, so like this guy. And he basically, at this point, he loses, when he's fighting like this, he loses all, see how his eyes go blank?
Yeah.
When he invokes this, I don't think it's his, I don't think he controls it.
Okay.
2.
But that would be evidence towards possession.
Possession, yes. He doesn't speak when it's going on, and he has just this blank look on his face the whole time. Basically, like, he looks like Saitama's blank look, just all the time while he's being possessed by this thing.
Interesting.
And while it's manifesting, and he's fighting with it, and he gets freaking crazy and very strong while he has it, and it just looks gnarly. So yeah, but I have him in there. It's not explained in the first season what the heck it is. It could be an experiment. It could have been with him since birth. We have no clue. There's so many cool things in this show that I want to know about, that I'm so excited to learn about, and I hope the show keeps going and such and such. And I probably will just
the
start
manga goes on for a while. Yeah,
I will probably
just
read it. Yeah. It'll be better anyway. But
it'll be better.
But the show's good. The show's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Meliodas is an interesting character. For the most part, seems very similar to, honestly, just Saitama in a way, in that, like,
he can kill enemies with one punch.
In that he's not threatened a whole lot.
Yeah.
And he knows that, so he's slightly more arrogant, I feel. But his strength feels more earned than Saitama's, in that he has battle experience. So he was a part of the royal army defending the nation, and then supposedly him and his crew, the Seven Deadly Sins, betrayed the nation and
quote unquote
killed the king,
quote
and
unquote
all of these things, quote unquote. Yes, I disbelieve that. It seems, and especially by the end of the first season, it seems very, very much that they were set up.
Yeah. I got that from the one episode I saw of the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what you're led to believe. Right? But by the end of the season 1, you have more evidence.
Yeah,
to that.
I see that.
There's more flashbacks. There's more people talking to one another and explaining things.
Yeah.
And they seem more like the 47 Ronin to me than anything else.
That sounds cool.
Being like this 47 Ronin traditional story in Japan. I'm gonna butcher this, I'm sure, but I'm gonna get close to it as I can. Their lord was killed by a rival lord, and they were sort of shamed, and so they all decided they made this plan where they were all going to, instead of finding another lord or becoming samurai again, they were just going to remain Ronin, meaning masterless samurai.
Yeah, like kind of like a,
and get to a point,
homeless, you know.
They were going to be homeless. They were going to be drunkards. They were going to be just the
lowest form of
scum of society.
Yeah.
For X number of years. I think it was 5. I'm not super sure. Then basically getting to the point where no one would believe that they were capable of anything.
Yeah. Just people had given up on them as samurai.
Or they would just be like legends or whatever.
Yeah.
No one would believe in them at all. And then at this certain day, certain point in time, they would all come back together and exact their revenge. Which is what happened. They all came back together. They entered the stronghold of their rival lord, slaughtered everyone, dug 47 graves, killed themselves, and fell into their graves.
Yeah.
That's the
very
spark notes of the 47 Ronin. So that's sort of the vibe I get about
not this. The movie that came out with Keanu Reeves.
No,
but the original story.
The actual thing that's
that movie's not bad though.
Yeah,
it's more mystical.
And so that's kind of the vibe I get of these Seven Deadly Sins, is that they serve their country well. They know they did. They were set up. They know they were set up. They know they're not to blame, but they don't really care too much about defending themselves. So they've just gone off and just
they're okay with living with the shame, quote unquote, that people are putting on them.
Because they know that they did the right thing. Whatever. Yeah. They've been living in, and now they have some reason to come back together.
To defend this princess that shows up.
MacGuffin is. Yeah, it's her. She's just like, hey, I need y'all to come back together because essentially some of what they thought happened with the 7 deadly sins, that being, a group of the military trying to overthrow the king and take over, is actually happening, or the princess believes is actually going to happen with some of the people in the current military. And so she's gathering the 7 deadly sins to fight them to defend the kingdom again.
Cool. Very cool.
Which is very cool. Interesting. There's a lot of fights in the show, and there's a lot of decent reasoning, I think, behind a lot of the fights and a lot of things in the show, and the ramp up and all this stuff, which I find interesting. So, like, not only are there these 7 deadly sins, each of them also has a weapon, and so they're all very powerful by themselves. But once they have their weapons, they're even more powerful. And Meliodas goes for the bulk of this show with no weapon. And he's cool. Really cool. He's cool. Aside from his strange fixation
strange fixation
on women's body parts. It's just, I guess he has to have a flaw.
Perverts.
We'll leave it at that. At least he is flawed in some way.
Sure. At least he's flawed in some way.
But he's real cool. And so like he's powerful on his own in and of himself. But they call him, I think they call him the Dragon. I think Dragon is part of his nickname. And like so that all the members of the 7 deadly sins have a tattoo of whatever their particular symbol is, and his is a dragon, sort of like eating its tail. Where is it?
It's over here on his arm.
This thing.
And
we're led to believe that the thing coming out of him might be the reason that he has that name. We're also led to believe that he by himself eradicated an entire city, like removed it from existence, like nuked it.
Wow.
By his onesie, which is probably having to deal with
whatever.
Wasn't it might even have been a nation.
Whatever devil is in him,
a kingdom, something to that effect. Anyway,
interesting.
He's my number 3. He's really cool. I hope more of that show comes out soon. Otherwise, I'll just read the manga, I guess.
Or just read the manga.
But it's good. Sounds cool. All right, moving on to my number 2, I guess. My number 2 is Yoko Kurama.
That name sounds very familiar.
It should. Kurama is from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, wait.
Kurama is the red-haired kid. His name is Kurama.
The one that's after...
And at first... No, gosh. Kurama is also apparently a word for the actual fox demon.
Maybe that is.
I guess.
Fox demon. Maybe we were wrong. Maybe QB is the one inside Gaara.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Anyways, Kurama... I typed it into Google like it would pull up pictures of this guy. It didn't pull up pictures of fox demons.
Oh, no, I have no idea who this is.
So you haven't seen him yet.
Yeah. When you said red hair, I was like, is that the guy with the sword? I was like, no, that's not his name. That's
Kuwabara.
Kuwabara, yeah.
So he pops up. He'll pop up after... Because you're probably not... Yusuke isn't even a spirit detective at the point that you're in yet.
No,
he's
just
he's
still on a quest
trying to
get his
figure out
body
how to
back,
not be dead. Yes,
I'm still really early in that show.
He will eventually become a spirit detective, and some of his first missions will involve Hiei and Kurama, who are in cahoots trying to get some items from the demon world. Anyhoosels, you'll learn about Kurama. So Yoko Kurama is the demon, the actual demon. And he's this silver-haired gentleman here.
Looks like he's like straight out of Inuyasha.
Yeah, straight out of it.
Yeah.
This fool.
Very, very beautiful man.
Very beautiful man. Quite easily one of the most powerful people in this show.
Very cool.
I think, definitely. Super up there. What was I saying? So Yoko Kurama existed in Yu Yu Hakusho. There's a demon plane, and between the demon plane and the human world, there has been this barrier that's been set up, and it's like a big net.
Okay.
And it's meant to keep out the higher class demons, or to keep them in the demon world, keep them from getting into the human world.
Yeah.
However,
that's a good word because it's like big creatures couldn't get through a net because of the way it is.
So smaller ones can. So more powerful demons cannot get through this net into the human world, but smaller demons, lesser power demons can. And their rank is from S to D, like most
Japanese rankings.
For some reason. S class is your highest class, and then it goes A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
I think there's D in this. It might only go to C, but anyway, I think that's right. C and D class demons can get through the net fairly easily, from what I understand, but B and up, so BA and S class, are just kind of stuck in the demon world, being demons.
Mm-hmm.
Yoko Kurama is easily an S. Very, very old demon, lives for centuries.
Yeah.
But eventually gets his comeuppance and is injured and running from people that are trying to capture him, and decides to lower his demon level. And I think it just might have been so weak that he was low. I don't really know. He escapes into the...
kind of downgraded too.
Yeah, he escapes. However he does it, he lowers his power level, sacrifices a lot of his power, gets into the human world, finds a woman who's pregnant, enters the body of her baby, and seals himself inside of this child.
Huh. As like a way to hide?
Correct. And a way to grow. And at first, it was very foggy to me at first, because I thought that the demon actually like took the place of this child, like removed their spirit or killed this child and just took the place of it.
Became that child.
I don't know if that's exactly the case. I think it more like merged with it. Yeah. So like Kurama, the redhead kid, is aware that he is a demon.
Okay.
And that Yoko Kurama is a thing that he has.
I see.
And later on gains somewhat control over changing into...
But do the two of them seem distinct?
Like, they are very distinct individuals.
Okay.
They're not the same.
So you can tell that it's...
However, they both seem to have similar... They don't see eye to eye in everything, but they're not at
odds with one another.
Odds. No, they don't seem to be. It's just more that Kurama, he himself is an individual and has his own power. You'll see him use a lot of magic with plants and things of that nature, and that's something he's developed himself in his own life through demon power and things of that nature. Demon power that he's gotten from Yoko. Yoko Kurama doesn't use any of that. He's just a boss. Yada 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 yada. So. I
love this picture. This laugh looks so funny.
And
God, I need to see more of that show.
You do. It's so freaking good. It's classic, David. Anyway,
especially after seeing My Hero Academia.
Yes, you do. I think if anyone watching a tournament style anime now should go back and watch Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
Because it kind of set the standard.
It kind of set the bar, yeah. It's definitely one of the better
comparable to DBZ. It came out shortly after Dragon Ball Z. Yes, Dragon Ball Z in Japan, which does have plenty of tournament style things to it, especially in the Frieza saga and somewhat in the Cell saga, but the Cell saga was more just like, whoever you want, come at me.
The Cell games was more or less a tournament.
It was a tournament, but it was just Cell versus whoever the frick you wanted to fight.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Whereas these actually set up legitimate tournament. Like there is the Dark Tournament is a whole section, a whole season of this show. Which is, and it does. I think the creator does a really good job of introducing tons of different characters with different distinct powers and having them fight. And I've said this before that I really like the show because of the way they do their fights and how people often think through their fights rather than, I'll just train for a couple years and come back. It's really cool. Anyways, two distinct people. Kurama is very much himself a demon, but he's interesting though because he doesn't want to give up his body. He doesn't want to give up his control to Yoko.
Yeah.
And there's even a fight in the last arc where he could very easily win if he was Yoko.
Yeah.
But he chooses not to be, so that he can win on his own terms as Kurama. It's really interesting that this demon was just trying to find a place to hide for a while and inadvertently became subject to this lesser quote unquote being who is Kurama, who he himself develops powers and his own identity through basically the chance that Kurama has given him to be exposed to demon energy and all this nonsense.
So does really Kurama have any kind of control over Yoko Kurama? Like, does he have any say in what Yoko does? Can Yoko just pop out whenever he wants to, and Kurama has no say in it?
No, I don't think that's the case.
Maybe they just don't.
Kurama definitely does have say in it, but it's more like, gosh,
Because they do seem to be like kind of one in purpose and for the most part. Like they do seem to be like.
The most comparable thing I can think of is Yugi to Yami. In that Yugi, he of himself is a good duelist.
Yeah.
Yami
even without the Pharaoh, yeah.
Right. Yami just brings in much more supernatural understanding and power and centuries of experience.
Yeah, and also being the king of games.
Right. Yes. Definitely. But Kurama himself is not someone to mess with or to be taken
Side note, I really, really want there to be some kind of crossover between Yugimoto and Blank from No Game No Life. I've seen very little of that show, but I've seen the two of them, the two characters of Blank, Shiro and is it Shiro? Maybe it's Shiro. It's Sora. It's Sora and whatever the girl's name is.
Whatever the girl is.
I don't actually see the show much. I want to see the two of them go face off against Yugi because I've seen them interact with people in games, and they're very smart, and it's very, very cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Kurama's cool, and Yoko Kurama's cool. I mean, Yoko is almost like a power-up type deal, who just happens to have his own kind of
way of doing things,
personality.
Yeah. That's cool.
So like similar to Yami and Yugi, they're linked. They understand one another, but they are distinct.
Do they have? Can they communicate with one another like Yugi and Yami do from time to time?
No, it's been a while since I've seen it. And the most recent thing I've seen is I've watched the final season again. Or I've watched the final season. That's the most recent thing I've watched. And that was Yoko played a part in it, definitely because his history is brought up in it. But again, the most you see of him, he powers up for a minute to kill some folks, and then he powers up again during a battle, and then that's when Kurama's like, nah, I got this. I don't need you specifically. I can do this myself.
I don't want your future.
And he just freaking murders this guy. It's great.
Nice. Very cool.
Murders a guy who I thought had already been murdered, but apparently had been brought back to fight in the tournament again.
That's, tournament anime.
Happens in anime, I guess. Anyway, so that's cool. Yoko Kurama's great.
Freaking
super good. All of you should watch the Yu Yu Hakusho. Watch it a lot. It's great.
Yes.
My number.
You probably already have because you're not a noob like me.
I highly doubt. It's something that I think only people like my age and older, and particularly a lot of women my age and older, have seen.
Interesting.
Most of the people I talk to who have seen Yu Yu Hakusho are women.
Huh.
And because look at these boys, David.
Look at these boys. That's a beautiful man.
This is, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They are.
I feel that.
Pretty. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Okay.
Any hoozles.
Yeah. I always like to say Inuyasha was Dragon Ball Z for girls. Because...
Yeah. I guess.
Because of some of the power creep, but also all the men are really pretty.
This could be that too.
It could be that too, yeah. I feel like this is probably more accurate.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
My numero uno at the moment, and this is subject to change, sure. But my number one, right meow, is Rin Okamura from Blue Exorcist.
That one I do know.
He
very much so.
Is so cool.
He's very cool.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
He's comparable to Naruto in that he has a clear-cut goal in mind.
Yes.
Naruto, I'm going to be the Hokage. Rin, I'm going to kill Satan. I'm going to wreck Satan's face.
Mm-hmm. Kick his teeth in.
I just thought it was some cool fan art I could do. Could have Rin powering up, about to go at Sadao. That would be so fun.
Holy crap, yes!
That would be so cool. I want to do that.
Do it. Just do it tonight. No, I'm just kidding. That's very cool. Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
But Ren's really fun. He's really interesting to me. We've talked about Blue Exorcist before. It's very cool. There are exorcists in this, as the title suggests.
Mm-hmm.
Are they monitors? They're monitored somewhat by a church, right?
Yeah, they're monitored by the church. Yeah.
By a Vatican by a Catholic church like thing.
What's his name? The goofy one with the hat. What's his name?
Mephisto.
He worked for he worked for the Vatican, didn't he?
Yeah. He's in cahoots with them, even though he is a demon.
Spoilers. No, there's no way you didn't know he was
most obvious.
Yeah, right. It's like the most obvious thing.
And the fact that like after you see Homeboy go demon, Rin.
Yeah.
You see Mephisto, and Mephisto is the only other character anywhere that has pointy ears.
Yeah.
And you're like,
demon.
Immediately, yeah, and he's one of the. I want so much more explanation from this anime.
Yeah.
He's one of the kings of the demon realm, implying that he's one of the sons of Satan as well, but obviously not a half human, half demon son the way Rin and his brother, whose name escapes me, are.
I want to say like Yoko, but I don't know.
I want to say his name starts with a Y.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's nothing that good old Google can't fix.
Okamura, you said is his last name?
Yeah, Okamura.
Okamura, yeah.
No, that didn't help. Yukio.
Yeah. There we are.
I was going to say Yuki, but I was like, that sounds like more like a girl's name. Yukio, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought with Yoko, too. I thought, no, Yoko's more of a girl there, too. Yeah. Yukio. I love the two of them. I love their connection very much.
For good reason.
Being a twin.
Yes.
Also, me and
Hi, Scott.
Me and my brother Scott saw a lot of ourselves in these characters, and that the differences in their characters is similar to our differences, as even though we're twins, in personality at least. It was very cool, and yeah, I liked the performances they both had. Like one of them being very charged and one of them being cooler and more reserved. Cooler not in the sense I felt that he was like genuinely like more interesting or fun or cool like that, but like cool in the sense that like he had a cool head. He was more calculating and more intelligent. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I really like about Rin, which is what I like about he shares this with a couple other characters on the list, but something that I enjoy about Rin is that when he learns that he's connected to Satan, he learns that he has these powers from him, he learns that he's a demon, and he is treated very poorly because of that from a lot of people that are around him, in a comparable manner to like Naruto and something like that. But he very much chooses to be the master of his own destiny. He's like, essentially says, I'm not going to let my supposed handicap or problem, quote unquote, define me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a good person.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fight for what's right. I'm going to protect my friends, and I'm going to kill Satan, this demon. And I'll use the powers I have from him to do that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It when I first saw it, a little bit reminded me of Ghost Rider, in that that's kind of the motivation of Ghost Rider as well. Is that he's like, I was given these powers by Satan, but I'm going to use them to kill Satan or stop Satan or whatever the case may be. And it's very interesting. I really do like that, like where there is that struggle, because you do see sometimes when he gets overpowered, like it's hard for him to control himself, but he does have that goal set in mind where he doesn't want to be what people think he is. Basically, he doesn't want to. Yeah, he wants to be more than just the demon in him.
Right.
And it's very cool.
I really like that. It's a good example of someone accepting their whatever setbacks they have and using their own weakness as a strength, using their own difficulties or problems in life and turning that into something good for them.
Definitely.
And it's a good metaphor, I think, for that in life.
Yeah. I also think that Rin and Yukio are their brotherhood, I think, is a very neat aspect that helps along in that journey, I think, because it's like as you progress through the show, there's conflict between them, but you definitely see that they both genuinely care for one another, and it's very cool. I like that a lot, and I think that's a big boon for the show as well and for the characters involved.
Definitely. I think sometimes it's harder. For me, it was definitely harder to feel Yukio's emotion or character. He's a much more quiet character, sort of not wanting to show emotion type character.
Yeah,
Rin just wears it on his sleeve.
Yeah, and we're also not seeing the show from his perspective. We're seeing it from Rin's perspective. So
very
it's tough. Yeah.
But yeah, this show is real cool. It's full of surprises. There are good twists at the end, and I don't mean just the weird Yukio.
Like last 4 episode dealio, where it just basically crams like 2 seasons worth of story.
There's a point where Yukio more or less becomes the bad guy, or kind of partners up with.
He gets possessed
someone
by
who's definitely a bad guy. Not that part. That part I think is cool.
Oh,
that's a good twist and a good reveal.
I'm
talking about the thing where his granddad shows up out of nowhere and is like, "You should join my army," and Yukio's like, "All right, sure." And then all of a sudden, Yukio's like
working for the enemy team,
and he's like the head. He takes the place of whatever the other guy was with the sword, who was really fast and ridiculous and good, but was doing nothing helpful throughout the show.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
The head.
Yeah, no, that was weird too.
Head crazy warrior man.
Yeah, that was really weird too.
That was the part that was strange, and just because it happened so quickly with no foundation whatsoever.
For sure, yeah.
But the thing about Satan being like, and it's something that you don't think about because the whole time the only person, Yukio doesn't seem to have any power, any satanic power.
He doesn't have any.
Ren's the one who's showing the signs of demons. He's got the blue flames. He's got the tail. He's got the sword. All this nonsense. And then Yukio,
I know, is paranoid that he's going to develop those powers. Though he's constantly testing himself. Using some kind of like magic or whatever their science is in the exorcist world to try and make sure he isn't developing his powers. And I honestly, throughout the show, always wanted him to develop the powers because I felt like I'm a real sucker for Brotherhood stories, and I really wanted him to develop the powers so that he could really see how the other side lived, basically. And it'd be this, I wanted to see this genuine, like, this cathartic reunion type thing where they both like, oh, I get it now. Like, I get what you're going through.
Right.
Type thing, and I think that would have been really, really cool.
And I think that is what happens, honestly.
It is what happens with the show, but it feels rushed and really weird.
Yeah,
and it's not dwelled on. And I know that in the current season they're putting out, or I think it's already out. I think I've already missed it or whatever. But on Crunchyroll, it's a second season, and it's kind of at least as far as I can tell, kind of retconning the second part of the show. Yeah. And I'm wondering if they change that. Like, I don't want them to. Like, I want Yukio to still develop the powers because I feel like that was a neat twist for the show, and it was really good for their relationship. But we'll see.
Yeah. Definitely so. But he's cool. And this show is fun. There's got a lot of other fun characters, kids that are trying to become exorcists and things of that nature. Yeah. Yukio himself is a cool exorcist. I enjoy seeing... This is a cool example of where you can see that being a demon versus being a human doesn't necessarily mean you are good or you are evil. And it's very, very obvious in this, and that is your choice, because there are plenty of humans in this who are absolute monsters.
Yeah.
And there are demons in here who are obviously not helping Satan.
Yeah.
Mephisto is here training exorcists and things of that nature.
And the cat that Rin gains.
Correct.
Whatever his name is.
It's a little spirit cat. I don't remember. I love that cat. That cat's great. But yeah.
So many tears. So many tears in that show.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of sad in that show.
It's really good, though.
Be mindful. There's some sad in the show.
It's good.
But it's very good. Very, very fun.
8.8 out of 10 on TV.com and 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Getting it.
People like that show.
Yeah, I sure do. But yeah, I do like that choice is emphasized. Like, you have the ability to choose what your actions will be, regardless of where you come from or what supposed weaknesses you're born with or chances you're born with.
It's very cool. It's
very cool message.
You're not your father. You're not your past, basically, or your ancestor, whatever. It's very cool.
Very fun. Very interesting. Very good show. So that's it. That's my top 5. I do have a secret one that's my favorite, but I don't want to talk about it because I feel like it's too good of a reveal for anyone who hasn't seen that particular show. I'm not even going to talk about what it is because I don't want to ruin it for you because you haven't seen it.
Oh, man.
And I don't want to ruin it for anyone else who hasn't seen it either.
Oh, man.
But be aware, in the future, I might come back to this.
A little sizzle now. You got me on the edge of my seat.
But yeah, definitely check out these anime if you haven't. Watch them, enjoy them. Let us know. Write in. Whoever's listening, let us know what you think. Let us know who you think I left off the list. I'm sure I left plenty of people off. There's a guy from Tokyo Ghoul, right? I don't know his name.
Yeah, people like him.
Don't tell me about him. I don't care. I won't watch it.
You didn't even name Yamayuki. I mean, you kind of did, but...
I named... I was going to put him on my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
But then I already had Bakura, and I was like, I feel like Bakura's probably a better... Because, like, Yugi isn't
that's true.
possessed, so to speak, by Yami.
Yeah, that's
so much as they have a mutual agreement and they share rent.
Yeah. They share rent in a body.
But he can be considered
no, I feel that. No, I get that. That's cool.
And I think there's probably several other Yu-Gi-Oh characters that from other seasons I think it could be considered possessed at some point too. I don't know if...
Merrick's a little like that.
Homeboy from GX, doesn't he go kind of nuts at some point? He has some kind of...
not Jaden.
Jaden?
One of the...
doesn't he have something when he powers up? When we watch him power up...
He gains his green eyes and red eyes. I don't know. I never finished that show.
Other homeboy has a dragon tattoo or something.
From 5Ds. Yeah. Yusei.
I'm just going to refer to them as homeboys. Yuma isn't possessed... Is Yuma? Yeah.
Yeah, Yuma from... No, it's Yuya, isn't it?
From Zexal?
Or maybe it is from... Yeah.
I'm pretty sure his name is Yuma. I think Yuya is the newest one. I don't know. They all have U in their name except for Jaden, who may have had U in his name. But
Yuki is his last name. Jaden Yuki.
Jaden Yuki, there you go. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Yuma, you're right. So, Yuya is the new one.
Yeah, Yuya's the new one. Yuma was never necessarily possessed, I think, except for when he overlays himself with Astral.
Oh, okay.
Which is an interesting thing they do. They do it once in the end of season 1, and I don't even think they mentioned it going into season 2.
Interesting.
So remember that time that we became a... So like that's literally what happens. Is like you see them like overlay, because that's the thing in that, and that's the mechanic that's introduced in that show. Exi summon. Exi Shokan.
That's cool.
But yeah, he's a spectral alien that helps Yuma duel occasionally when Yuma feels like listening to him, and this is what they look like when they're overlaid. This
Interesting.
Guy here.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So eventually they form up together.
They form Voltron. No.
Indeed. But then, I don't know what Yuya's thing is. No idea.
Yeah, me neither.
And isn't there an even newer one? Because Yuya was Pendulum.
Yeah.
And now we've got Link, which is a new season, right? Link Monster.
I have no idea. Maybe.
I
know it's a new mechanic, but I don't know if...
Yu-Gi-Oh's going to be here until we die.
Yeah, it's going to be around forever.
My gosh.
Yeah.
It's like Pokemon, but with less than half of the fan following.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Anyways, I thought...
I feel like, for at least in the case of Jaden and Yusei, it feels like they're not necessarily possessed by power or by something so much as they just gain a power that comes from spirits of some kind. So it's more like Goku's ability to do the Kamehameha, where it's like it's based on his spirit energy or his ties to spirit. Gotcha. Or actually, Spirit Ball is more like, because it's like it's not necessarily purely his spirit, but it's also other people's spirits type thing. Where it's like, because it's like Jaden, Yugi, and Yusei, I think, gain the powers.
The spirit of all the earth.
Gain the powers of
this would end
spirit
super fast.
Right.
I'm sorry, I was looking. We're on the Google.
It depends on It depends on if it was in the show or if it was in real life.
I guess, yeah. In the show, though,
the outcome. I mean, but they would both be fast. Is my point.
What we're explaining is we're looking on Google images of Yuma from the 4th series of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal.
And there's one bit of fan art, I guess, that shows Yugi and it says versus, and then Yuma on the other end. And I'm like, Yugi would slaughter Yuma.
He would slaughter him in the show. In the real world, Yuma would kill him.
Probably.
Just because Exes are way more broken than anything Yugi would do in real life.
I bet Yugi would pop out some gadgets and be like, what's up? And I bet he would still pull it out. Because Yuma is the worst duelist that has ever dueled.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Promises. And he does not improve whatsoever.
He does not improve whatsoever.
He's really interesting to me because he is comparable to another character that I didn't put on the list because he's also not possessed, but he hangs out with a ghost, and that is Hikaru from Hikaru no Go, which you should read because it's great. But it's about Hikaru who finds an ancient Go board that is that houses a spirit.
Mm.
Don't remember the spirit's name, but he's this really pretty man.
This really pretty man.
He's an expert Go player,
Mm-hmm.
but lost to a game of Go once and was so overcome with grief that he killed himself. Anywho, he hangs about Hikaru and he basically tells Hikaru where to play the Go pieces. And it's like in the first episode or first bit of chapters, Hikaru is doing this, and he's obviously a beginner because of the way he places, the way he handles the stones, but he's listening to the ghost. He's in a Go party. He's listening to the ghost tell him where to put stuff, and he beats this kid. Turns out this kid is a pro Go player, like a prodigy, one of the best, and he has no idea what happened to him. And so for the rest of the thing, he's like the rival, and he's trying to beat Hikaru and also figure out why the frick this kid was able to beat him.
Interesting.
But Hikaru has this moment where he's like, okay, I can listen to this ghost and be a faker for the rest of my life, or I can actually learn how to play this game.
Yeah.
And so you see him actually grow and learn and become a good Go player himself. Just really good. I should go back and finish that. Man,
that sounds brilliant. Yeah.
it's great.
It's maybe the same person that made Death Note, isn't it?
It is drawn by the same person.
The manga.
Death Note. I do not think the writers are.
Okay, that's probably right. But that's really neat because that reminds me of like when we talked about Yugi, because it's like with Yugi, it's like before he found the Pharaoh, he was pretty good at duel monsters, but B, he was genuinely like a good critical thinker. Like the whole point of him getting the Pharaoh was because he solved the Millennium Puzzle.
Correct.
Like he's just a good puzzle solver. He's a good strategist and things like that. And then when he got the Pharaoh, it just kind of like put his power level up, basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, so like Yuma is similar to that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because he has Astral and he can listen to Astral if he wants to, but he often chooses not to and totally fails because of it. However, if he were to listen to Astral, he would always win. Astral's a boss. And he's oddly censored, and I hate the dub of this show. It is so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that.
The sub is so good.
But yeah.
Even the music's better. They changed the freaking background music of the show for the dub. And I'm like...
That's weird. That is a weird choice. Yeah.
It's so weird.
Huh.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Will never be treated well when it is brought here. That is just a fact.
Yeah.
I want to know so much about this show. Anyway, I might read the manga. Maybe I'll do that.
Oh, that's true. I don't know if the manga... Does the manga follow it? Or...
Zexal?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's... So, for every
another
series of Yu-Gi-Oh! There is also a set of manga for that series.
Yeah. But I always just thought that...
Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal
I always just thought the Yu-Gi-Oh! show, the original show, was based off the original manga. But then I felt like every show after it was originally a show, and then they wrote a manga for it. Like,
probably.
Like that was kind of...
And that's likely the case, or that it was probably produced at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because they also have cards that come out. It would be dumb to show the show and then release the manga with cards from the show. Probably this was simultaneous.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably serialized in Weekly Shonen.
My only that's what I'm saying. The only thing I would worry about is, would the manga be anything like the show, or would it be, because it came out simultaneously, would it just be different things?
I assume it would be
in the same world.
I assume it would be the same.
Okay.
Or it would be what the sub was.
Mm-hmm.
I hope.
Yeah. We can dream.
I imagine so. because Shonen Jump, Viz Media, who puts this out in manga form, I assume would not be as ridiculous on it as like 4Kids or whoever is doing the dub, because the anime is trying to appeal to children. I don't know. I could be wrong though. I think Viz would be able to just make the straight adaptation of the manga, just translate stuff and not have to worry about things.
Yeah.
Which is what they did with the manga of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. I get that.
Anyways, that's the show, guys.
Yeah, that's it.
We tried to end it once and it didn't happen.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, you can get in touch with us at TNYKPod on Twitter and Facebooks. We're also on YouTube, Those Nerds You Know. We are on Podbean and iTunes. Please give us a listen. Give us a like. Give us a view. Give us a rating.
5 stars. Yeah.
5-star review would be
think.
fantastic. Write in. Let us know who you think should also be on this list, or who your top 5 is, and why I might be wrong about whatever my top 5 was. But yes, and tell us anything else. Is there something you want us to talk about, or
did you also mention our Gmail?
If you have recommendations, our Gmail is thosenerdsyouknowpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, hit us up. Please
do that. Well, that's really cool. We'll do that. I'm sorry, I'm looking at stuff on Google. Google trapped me now. Anyway, thanks for listening in.
Yep.
We'll be back next week with another show. My name is Ethan.
And I'm David.
And we are Those Nerds You Know. Bye!